Have you ever felt scared of change? A love that makes your heart pump so fast. A person that drives your craving and desire towards the future. Maybe the struggle is you, needing to be affirmed that you are wonderful enough to be loved. Escape and enjoy this episode of a love-filled story. Hello, fellow humans. This is Lots of Hope. Welcome to this episode of The Living Journey, where we escape and explore life in an alternate universe. Thank you for your support. Now, let's decompress. Secret Passage to Love. Sitting on the only bench at the edge of the park, facing the vast ocean, relaxing while thinking of nothing. All you want to do is to let the day of exhaustion dissipate. The sun sets into the horizon, waving its glow in the rippled cloud. There is almost nothing more enchanting and nothing you love more than this beautiful image. With the large ship sailing out of the harbor, rolling and breaking the complete silence, yet harmoniously creating a peaceful symphony. This is your favorite place since you moved to the city with your ex-boyfriend. You had dreamed of growing old together, walking home from grocery shopping, crossing this park, sheltering in this quiet corner, overlooking the sea, while cuddling together. You used to joke how much you hated the armrest between the seats. It blocked your body from touching and connecting, stopping your souls from melting into each other. You had even once contributed the reason why your ex-boyfriend breaking up with you to the cold metal armrest. You know how silly it sounds, but you were not given closure, not sure why or how he decided to leave. Your silly reasoning was just your silly way to reduce your self-doubt, to make yourself feel better, so you don't constantly think about your failures that caused you to lose the love that you cherished so very much, and to hold on dearly to your confidence to be brave and to be true to yourself. Watching the sun hiding into the sea, you stood up and started to walk back into the park. While you wondered how nobody but you and your ex-boyfriend ever came to this beautiful corner, you didn't notice the trees behind you moved around and closed the path towards the bench with the ocean view. Walking out of the woods, you returned to the park. The scenery changed almost instantly. Families with kids running and laughing. You could hear the sharp and loud childish laughter from distance away. It sounded so very innocent, and it just made you smile. Slightly further, in the basketball courts, a bunch of youthful energies were running around, dribbling balls, cheering and shouting, walking among the people who had different lifestyles than you had. You felt like an outsider, observing, watching, and oddly enjoying the vibrance of life. Decided that you had enough outdoor time, you walked away and arrived back home. Suddenly, the sadness started to attack you. The spare space that used to be furnished, the clothing rack that used to be occupied by your matching winter jackets, the perfect kitchen, which was just enough for two people working hard and cooking a gorgeous meal. All is now empty like your heart. You didn't like the fact that you needed an additional person to fill your heart. You didn't like the idea that you are imperfect and lonely without a partner. Some people might be able to be single and fabulous, but you were not one of them. Feeling even less confident, When you admitted to yourself the fact that you crave and desired love, to love and to be loved, that is a vital part of you. You text your friend for help. Unfortunately, your friend angrily cursing your demons out, and the exorcism resumed your soul and confidence. Soon, the space without furnishings got replaced by the plants. You saw on the internet people enlightening their beloved spaces with green creatures. You know you can make the space nice with your decoration skills. You just didn't know that you don't have a green thumb that's needed for the plants. Some of them needs a lot of water. Some of them needs very little water. Some you try to water with purified water. Some you try to water with just tap water. But uniformly, they all dried out, and you had to throw them out, deciding that maybe you should just enjoy the plants in the park. You walked towards the bench to enjoy the sunset and to enjoy the trees along the way. Walking by the basketball courts, it was oddly quiet. Looking at your phone to check the time, it was supposed to be the busiest time for all the teenagers to enjoy playtime. Seeing you standing and seemingly confused, the handsome guy shooting hoops in his loosened tie and the shiny leather shoes, holding the ball, and walked towards you. Being greeted for the first time in this area, you were shocked. But seeing the beautiful sweating face, you smiled and said hi back, explaining that all the kids suddenly left for a free energy drink promotional truck for free samples. He just happened to walk by, and the intrusive thought of stealing their basketball for fun took over his body. You heard him, looking at his long, elegant fingers, holding the basketball, and smiled, thinking that his beautiful fingers should be dancing on the piano keys instead of holding the slightly sweat-drizzled basketball. You didn't think much. You were about to proceed with your walk towards the bench, yet he stopped you, asking if you were interested to have a short walk with him. You didn't know what to say. You awkwardly nodded your head to this handsome guy. He ran back to the court, left the ball, patted the ball like he was patting a cute puppy, demanding it to stay like a good boy, then grabbed his suit blazer and ran back towards you. His muscled lean body under the sweat-infused partially transparent white shirt looked so very sexy. With the gentle wind breezing through your heart, you couldn't help but smile. Walking around the park, you didn't feel comfortable guiding the stranger to your secret bench to enjoy your favorite ocean sunset view, however sexy or charming he is. Dressing in the preppy outfit with the loose silk tie and the top button of the white shirt being undone, he's surprisingly funny. Taking tours around the park, seeing the youth return to the basketball courts, seeing some parents with their kids leaving the park. Then your beautiful sun setting into the tree line from far away. Then again, walking back to the basketball courts, you barely noticed the time, but the dim sky and the hoop lights illuminating the passionate and invigorating teens. You realized it would be your time to go home. Saying goodbye to the comedic stranger, you walked away. A couple of steps out, he paced up to you, walking backwards with you, asking you, I actually walked by the park a couple of times and saw you each and every time. I thought you were really cute, so I decided to come on purpose today to see if I can see you and get to talk to you. You got surprised. It had been a long while since you got accosted, making you miss all the signs from this attractive man. Him running towards you immediately after he sees you, talking to you, making you laugh, and politely hitting his bicep on your shoulder. Oh, not to mention that he complimented on your hair, on your voice, on your smile, on your quote unquote beautiful eyes behind those glasses. Feeling regret that you were so nerdy. Oh, I usually wear contacts, but I fell asleep at work. And then blah blah blah. You went on and on and on about your boring contact lenses, trying to remember what he said after your dry response. You lost focus. Luckily, he didn't notice much, as he was as nervous as you were. Can I please know your name and have your phone number? You didn't know how to react. You shouted out in an extremely high pitch, "Sure!" To your surprise, he took your number without noticing your ridiculously funny tone. Under his cool, confident smile, his hands were pouring sweat. At night, laying in bed, texting back and forth with the stranger, using the internet to background check him with your friend, even taking out the Ouija board to find out if he is a good person. With a sudden loud thunder, the Ouija board answered, yes. While planning for the first date, you realized that all the restaurants that you want to go to were simultaneously your favorite date night spots with your ex-boyfriend. Like there is no escape from the shadow of your ex-boyfriend, you started to find new restaurants and new experiences. Within minutes, like finding a treasure box that had been sitting in your view this whole time, you couldn't help but think about how you and your ex-boyfriend founded your routine, found your favorite restaurants, just like how you are searching now. You felt the sadness creeping into your heart, like the sunset shining into your windows. Looking out to the window, seeing the beautiful sunset, you couldn't help but think about your ex-boyfriend's silly smile, thinking about all the fun that you had together. Listening to your favorite cuddling song, you choked up, questioning if you were actually ready to date again. And minutes later, your cute new date texted you. I have tried that restaurant. I love it. Great choice. Dressing nicely with contact lenses, you walked into the restaurant with your new date. He casually dressed in a quarter-zip sweater with a nice shirt underneath. Being in a new environment, you acted a little strangely. Holding his hand, his sweaty palms showed that he was as nervous as you were. Are you nervous? You leaned over and asked. He retrieved his hand, tried to wipe his hands on his pants, and replied to you. Yeah, sorry. You questioned why he would be nervous if he had been here before. And he answered that dating you made him nervous, especially that this is the first date. He only wants to make a very good impression. Admitting to each other what made you uncomfortable. Suddenly, his hands stopped sweating, and you stopped fidgeting. While reading the menu, he told you a funny story about his friend accidentally ordering way too much food in the exact seat, and they had to walk out of the restaurant with 2 days' worth of food in boxes. Then he recommended food that he enjoyed. When all the food was laid on the table, you couldn't help but gushing over how wonderful all the food looked and smelled. Without leaving the restaurant with to-go boxes, you had to leave the restaurant holding each other's hands because both of you had eaten too much, and the bags couldn't be straightened without the stomachs bursting. Going back to your place, watching TV for the rest of the night, then cuddled, falling asleep on the couch without obstruction of the metal armrest. You thought You had squashed his body into yours. Overall, it was a great night. Waking up, you are still in your new date's arms, thanks to your heavy investments in the most comfortable couch they had ever tried. You woke up refreshed, not sure about the time, scared of being late for work. You reached out to your phone. You realized, in the middle of the night, he had woken up, plugging in your phone to charge, and the battery was charged full. Surprisingly, it is still early in the morning, and it's a Saturday. Closing your eyes, wanting to sleep a little more, somehow you got a flashback to the day you purchased this couch. Imagined that you have so many great movie nights, cuddling music listening times, and so much more that had barely happened. Somehow, over the past year, this cozy couch became a cold war bed. Whenever you have a fight, your ex-boyfriend will automatically come out to the living room and sleep on the couch. You finally understood part of why you broke up. The couch was way too comfortable. Sleeping for a couple more hours, you felt him waking up. In a panic, you realized that you haven't brushed your teeth since dinner. The cuddle was way too perfect. Either of you could move before you fell asleep, thinking of the perfect night of comfort and laughter that will be destroyed by your toxic breath. You continued to pretend that you were still asleep, calculating on the next move, wanting to tell him that there are fresh toothbrushes under your sink, but not sure how you can act normal without him smelling your putrid mouth. Like a soldier being trapped in a trench warfare, after a long while, pretending that you were still asleep, trying to turn your face as far away from him as possible. Then both of you opened your mouth almost at the same time. Are you awake? And then he asked you about a spare toothbrush almost at the same time as you were offering one to him. Then holding your mouth, trying to hop off the couch with all your energy. As it is super deep and super cloudy, you failed. With your hand falling backwards, you accidentally opened your mouth and made a sound. Feeling panicked, you rolled off the couch, covered your mouth again, and ran into your bathroom, taking out a spare toothbrush, then started to brush your teeth vigorously. Swear to God, you haven't brushed your teeth so thoroughly for years. Regretting about your couch failure, you try to convince yourself that he didn't smell your breath at all, since the sound that you made was the sound that made you breathing in. To prove yourself, you took a deep breath in to mimic the sound and accidentally gagged on the toothpaste foam. Choking and laughing at the same time, he came into your bathroom, trying to make sure that you are okay, rinsing your mouth, pouting your mouth, and confessing that you're worrying about the bad morning breath ruining your already flimsy impression. He felt relieved, almost wanting to kiss you with his unbrushed mouth. But he held back the urge and covered his mouth and said to you, "You are so very perfect. The first time I met you, you were walking out of the park. You were so naturally beautiful. I couldn't get you out of my mind. So I went back the next day, once again at the same time. I didn't see you. So I went back once again the following week. And you were somehow even more adorable than I remembered. I was too nervous to talk to you because my brain was blank. Like I was struck by lightning or something. I mean, it never happens to me. Never did. And now it didn't disappoint at all. You made me laugh so much." After a couple weeks of consistent datings later, Your friend snitched to you that your handsome date wants to ask you to go steady and be your boyfriend. Dress nicely this weekend. In your friend's cheerful voice, you hesitated, craving to get back into a relationship. You were scared of the love being spoiled, and he would leave you after somehow you blemished your relationship until it's completely broken. Procrastinating until Friday, you dialed the number that you had deleted from your phone with your memory, calling your ex boyfriend, wishing to receive an answer and the proper closure on why he decided to break up with you, but he had blocked your number and your call went directly to the voicemail. Thinking about the following day, someone that you really like, that you really enjoy being with, is going to ask you to be with him exclusively. You felt happy, yet petrified. What if you're not able to correct the mistakes and change yourself so you won't make the same mistake? Losing another person who you really like, going through the same agony. With all the thoughts and the carefully prepared outfit hanging on the door, you didn't sleep for the whole night. And the dark circles under your eyes, the bloated face, made your need to cancel the date tonight even more insufferable. Barely text anything to your date and your friend all day. You're dressed up, all prepared for your date. Walking out of the house, you couldn't help but walked towards the park. Crossing the park, going towards your beloved bench overlooking the beautiful view. As all the trees moved apart, creating a path, but didn't close the entryway, leaving the trackway open, and you escaped into your little invisible world to hold on to your serenity. Sitting on the bench, looking down at your hands, holding the buzzing phone. It is your date and your friend calling you. Since being late is never your style, they were worried sick. You didn't want to pick up the phone. Being puzzled and denied an answer and closure, the negative emotion buried you deep under. Turning off your phone, you escaped into your beautiful sunset and drifted into sleep. When you got woken up by the rolling cruise ship, you realized that you had fallen asleep on the bench. The metal handle that once blocked you from your ex-boyfriend supported your body while you were sleeping. Hearing footsteps running on the fallen leaves and soft moist soil from the pathway towards you and this beautiful view. Looking back, it's your date. Feeling guilty of standing him up and retreating to this secret space, you looked back towards the ocean and looked down like a child waiting for discipline. When he saw you, the steps slowed down. He calmly walked towards you and sat down. Picking your hand up, he put your hand onto his lap, then holding your hand in his. Looking at the wonderful view, he opened his mouth. Can I be your boyfriend? With no sweat in his hands, he seemed to know that you wanted to say yes so badly, but you, being stuck in an undisclosed previous relationship, were scared that you would mess up the current relationship. You told him about your concern. Raising the hand that's closer to you, he hugged you into his arm while holding your hand in his lap. He kissed your hair, rubbing your back gently. You felt comfort. Closing your eyes and smelling his natural scent and the light cologne that you picked for him, a sense of security appeared in your heart. Hearing him picking up the phone and hearing your friend on the other side of the phone relieved, you couldn't help but felt so very fortunate and loved. As the sun completely set into the horizon, the sky turned dark. It was your sign to go home. Saying yes to his request, you tried to stand up from the cold, hard bench, but you failed. Not sure how, but you were stuck in your deep, cloudy couch, falling back onto the couch, into your new boyfriend's chest. You heard his heartbeats turned faster, pulling you to his lips with his strong hands. You got kissed under the moonlight, above the horizon, and the trees closing the secret pathway like a big, thick theater curtain. That's all for this episode of The Living Journey. I truly am grateful for your time. Feel free to leave your reviews. Please like, follow, or subscribe. Do share this show so we can grow together. Until next time, lots of hope, signing out.